Alrighty guys, thank you for joining me again today. My name is Hunter Wilkins and this is Father and Forge Christmas edition. Today I've got a fun project just for the holidays. I'll show you a couple of things in just a second, but basically we're making a tree skirt crate style deal for the bottom of a Christmas tree. So you probably saw that in the opening clips, but that's what we're gonna make real quick. It's super cheap, super easy to do. So I'll go over some of the materials in just a moment and we'll get started. Let's talk about materials real quick. This is super easy, super simple to do, super cheap to make. I've seen things like this go in stores for like anywhere between $10 to $40. So to be able to do this for as cheap as I'm able to do it here, it's a no-brainer. It's just so much easier. So first thing you're gonna need is some like foam board, and this is, if I can show you, it is foam board that is laminated with like a paper material on the outside. You can get really nice foam board that you can actually like carve texture into and whatnot, but for this purpose and to keep this super cheap, we're not going to do that. We're just going to use this stuff. So it's a foam core basically laminated with like some poster board or something. So we're going to use that for our pieces. You're going to need a sharp knife, something to cut with, bandsaw. I'm just using an X-Acto knife. My bandsaw is in my shed, and it's not as easy for me to cut these big pieces on the bandsaw like that. And then you're also going to need some measuring tools. I like using a speed square. Some people might prefer to choose a regular ruler, or they might not have a speed square. It's up to you. You can just use a straight edge, honestly, as long as you can measure it out and mark it, it's fine. The last thing you're going to need, and I've actually, don't know if you can see that, I've got it plugged in and warming up. This is a hot glue gun. Any hot glue gun will do. You don't actually have, it doesn't have to be a hot glue gun. You could do this with like regular Elmer school glue or something like that, but the hot glue is just fast and convenient, and I just like using hot glue. So, okay, so I'm gonna bring it down to the floor here and we'll get started in just a second, but I've got my two assistants, my two little daughters, and they're gonna help me out with this a little bit. But basically we're gonna start marking this out and cutting it as we go. If there's stickers on the board that you get, whatever kind of board you get, go ahead and peel those off before you start cutting. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to actually get those off. So before you start measuring your board or cutting anything, obviously you need to know the size of the crate that you need to make for your tree. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure the external dimensions of your tree base. This one was pretty simple. It's just like a pipe set up. It's just like some pipes welded together that basically make a little stand. So it wasn't anything complicated. Mine is about 15 inches wide on all four sides. So you're gonna wanna go a little bit extra. So I think I did on the last one I did 16 because it was the same tree base. But you can basically get it as tight as you want to it, but you're gonna have to have a little bit of wiggle room. When you put the corners on, you'll actually get a little bit of distance, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of glue your corners a little bit, offset just a little bit, just to give you some extra room. And I'll show you another little part of this when we get going here. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure out 15, or let's say 16 inches. We're gonna go 16 wide, and on mine, I wanted it at about 9 inches tall. You're gonna have to measure yours and find out what's gonna work best for you. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make 4 of these panels, and then I'm gonna cut in the same exact length. I'm gonna cut 12 1-inch strips. And those strips are gonna make my top rail and my bottom rail and my diagonal. You can scale this however you want. You could do 2-inch strips if you want. I went with 1 just because that seemed to look pretty good with the size that we're going for. So we're going to do 1-inch strips, and we're also going to do 2-inch strips, and the 2 inches are going to be the corners. They're going to be 2 inches and then 9 inches tall. So wherever this mark is, basically I can take all my scrap and just cut 2-inch sections out of any of my scrap and stuff, and that's how I'll do that. So let's just go ahead. We're going to dive right in and start cutting this out. I'm going to get my blade, and then we're just gonna go silent, and I'll do some speed cut of this basically. Okay, so what you're going to end up with is 12 of these. These are 1-inch strips. They should be about 16 inches long. If they're a little wonky, it doesn't matter. If you have pencil marks on one side, that doesn't matter because we can put that side down. Not a big deal. So you're going to end up with 12 of these. You're going to have 4 panels. So mine are 16 by 9. Again, if they get a little wonky, it doesn't really matter. I had the kids helping me and stuff, so it's, you know, it is what it is. But basically I can adjust these a little bit here and there, make them a little bit higher or whatever, and hide any bad edges, so that's not really that big of a deal. Now the most important thing is going to be these are your corners. So these are 2-inch strips cut to the height of the board. I like doing it this way. Actually, I'm a little bit off on my height, but that's okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be under the tree, and it's not super visible, so it's not that big of a deal. But all right, here's the important part. So if you're using the same kind of like poster board foam core stuff that I'm using, you're going to be really careful. You don't want to cut all the way through these. You only want to cut through just that poster board on the one side. And basically that's going to give us a hinge, and it'll allow us to glue our sections together and keep them connected. So I'm just going to score along the middle, and I marked this out with my speed square just so I have a nice 1-inch line. Got a child over here playing with sticks. So then you just kind of snap it. Beautiful. So that's what you want right there. Give me 5. Good job. You could paint this to look like wood. You could add texture. If you got real crazy, you could get some high quality foam board and actually like do some wire burning and stuff and do wire burn texture. It's pretty cool stuff there. I'm gonna take my actual panels now. I don't really have a lot of room here, so I'm going to show you on the first 2, and then I'm just going to kind of do the others. So I'm going to space them out. This side looks better. I'm going to try to pick the sides that look the best. I'm going to leave about, let's see how big a gap that is. It's about 1/2 inch. I think I'm going to leave it like that, about 1/2 inch gap in between the 2 panels. And basically you just want to center it up as best as you can. Hot glue on kind of the 2 outside edges. I don't want to go too close to the center because I do have that gap there. And this does not have to be perfect, but you'll get a little bit of wiggle room to play with before the glue cools enough to where you can't really move it. So that's what we're going for. That exact thing, just like that. So let's do the others real quick. About a 1/2 inch gap. Can you give me one of those, please? Thank you. So this last section, thank you. This last section, basically what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna kind of try to leave that little 1/2 inch gap that I want, but I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. So on this one, basically on this side, you're gonna put some kind of like fastener. So you can do Velcro strip, little circles of Velcro, double-sided tape. You could do sticky tack. I did double-sided tape on this one. It works, but it could be better. I think what I'm gonna do is replace it with Velcro when I get a chance. All right, now for this part. This is where you can take some creative licensing. You could do like some vertical cross supports if you wanted. I like the diagonal look, so that's what I'm gonna stick with. But as you can see, these are cut. They're actually cut to the length of these sections here, so they're a little bit too long. You can cut them shorter, but I like having a little bit of extra to work with. That way, if my positioning on the corners isn't good, then I have a little bit of wiggle room to play with, and then I can adjust this. So I'm not gonna measure this. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Throw that over there. Pop some hot glue on here, and boom, there's one. And so you can see I'm just kind of positioning that up towards the edge of the panel just to kind of cover up some of that. So that's why it doesn't matter if your edges are a little screwy. This one, like I said, is a little bad. I'll have to touch that up. But okay, now let's do the diagonal real quick, and then I'll just go through in like a speed run and do the rest. So basically, again, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Put those down, please, just for a second. Just going to eyeball it, cut a little miter in here. These, when you put down, try to get it as close to the final position as possible, just so you don't want a bunch of glue smears and stuff everywhere. So that's what we're going for. And we're just going to continue down and do each one. Okay, so now we're at the final stretch here, basically. So what I'm gonna do for these, I'm just gonna glue these exactly like this. I'm not gonna put glue all the way to the end though. I'm gonna go about like something like that. So I kind of stopped like right about there. Let's pop that guy on there. I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, now I'm going to take this whole thing. Let's see where we're at here. So I need to, I'm going to shave this flush with the block first. Then I'm just going to score it where I want to cut it, basically. So all I was doing was just kind of checking the fit, seeing where that was going to fall. And now we know where to put our last cross piece. And that is that. Okay, so this is what we're after. So now we're basically done. I'm going to try not to bend this around too much. I don't want it to rip, but basically this side you'll put your Velcro or your double-sided tape or whatever, flip that around, and there you go. That's your fake little Christmas crate. I think it's like 88 cents per board of those, and it just takes 2 of them basically for something this size. Of course, if you got a bigger tree, bigger stand, you're gonna have to go bigger, but for mine, this is perfect, and that's how you do it. It's super easy, super quick, super fast, super easy to do. Doesn't require a lot of precision tools or anything. I just did that with a speed square, a pencil, and an X-Acto knife basically. And it could be a little bit better, like I need to clean up those pencil lines and stuff, but it's fine. So that is the finished product. This one's a little bit sloppier. I could have done a little bit better on my my cross bars and stuff, but I like how it turned out. I think it looks really nice with falling. I think it looks really nice with our flocked tree. So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, guys, so that's basically it. That's all I wanted to show, was just a little quick tutorial on how to do a quick little Christmas craft to spruce up give you something that you've maybe been pining for. It's like a forest of ideas in here. All right, that's enough of that, I'm sorry. Basically just wanted to go over that quick craft. I don't do a lot of Christmas stuff. I'm not big on Christmas, but my wife was born Christmas Eve, so very much into Christmas. I did this for her, and I just wanted to show you that cheap craft that you can do yourself at home. So pretty cool, I thought. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you'd like more stuff like this, let me know in the comments. I'll do it, whatever. That's basically that. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram if you're not following me on Instagram already, at Father and Forge. I do post a lot more stuff on Instagram than what you'll see on my YouTube. I've actually been a little bit slacking with my YouTube lately, so hopefully I'll try to get back on the ball there, but that's that. So once again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.